Hey, welcome back to another episode of Hineni. This is going to be a digital Bible journaling video of our past service on Sunday, February the 1st. Was not able to live Bible journal this service because I was translating live. And you can see that here in the beginning, I am just searching through or going through the first part of the service on our Facebook page of Templo de Dios. And we're going to go to about a little bit more than past halfway. It's about the first hour and like 28-minute mark. So I do kind of skip the whole first beginning praise and worship and that's the first, like I guess the first half of the service, just because it's I don't take notes in there in normally anyways. So I skipped all the way here to the first where the pastor is actually getting into the word here. You can see that I stopped scrolling through the Facebook video there, and you can see on the left hand side I have my Good Notes Bible journaling notebook. It's a digital journaling Bible that I use Good Notes with it, and I there's something kind of new that I've been trying out. I use Good Notes for other things, but I haven't done a digital Bible, and so I'm starting that a little bit more. I started last year, but I'm doing this a little bit more now because it's just a little easier to use during the service, since I'm kind of up and down in service, either singing or translating or going to the back to check on the kids or whatever. So this just makes it easier because it's all one place. I don't have to carry around my physical Bible, or it's just all on my iPad. So the pastor is here talking about, about to get into the word, where he's going to read from Matthew 7:7. And I'm going to open up my Bible here right now, but it's Matthew 7:7, and he talks about, he reads through verse 12, and I'm going to zoom in here. It's starting at Matthew 7, verse 7, and he says, ask and it shall be given to you. Seek and you shall find. Knock, and I have my highlighter. Knock and it shall be opened unto you. For everyone that asketh receiveth, and he that seeketh findeth, and to him that knocketh it shall be opened. Or what man is there of you who his son shall ask him for a loaf, will give him a stone? Or if he shall ask for a fish, will give him a serpent? If ye then, being evil, know how to give good gifts unto your children, how much more shall your Father who is in heaven give good things to them that ask? And this is a very common verse, right? The pastor was talking about this, that we all say, you ask and you shall find, you knock and it shall be open. Everybody talks about it, but the pastor wanted to focus on verse 12, because not everybody always connects these verses together. And we kind of keep it, even though this is something that we use often, right? This would be the golden rule, verse 12, where he says, all things therefore whatever ye would that men should do unto you, even so do ye also unto them. For this is the law of the prophets. Or do unto others as you want done to yourself, right? It's the golden rule. You be nice to others, they'll be nice to you. But they don't really do a connection between that verse and specifically the verse 7. And the pastor is going to go into this, talking about how people, or we, like to ask and make a list of our prayers, like literally like a checklist almost of, Lord, I want this, Lord, I want that. And we are making a list of our prayers. And yes, the verse 7 does say, ask and you shall receive. And then they don't connect it though to the verse 12 where it says, but do unto others. So if we're asking for somebody else to be changed, or Lord, I want this for my life, but we are not preparing ourselves or transforming ourselves to receive what it is we're asking for, it could be that the Lord may not answer it. And here I'm writing the golden rule because in other translations between verse 11 and verse 12, it says the golden rule, like that title, that transition part. So I put there on the top the golden rule, and I'm going to put right here how the pastor says it. He says that it was that prayer, we use it a lot of times just as a list that we send up to God, almost like you know how we make our Christmas list for, or children would make a Christmas list and they write exactly what they want. I want this, I want that, I want this. And then when it's time, when the parent says, oh, have you been good this year? And they said, yes, of course, even though, you know, that's obviously not true. We always mess up in some way or another. But in regards to our list, we believe that we've been so good, we've been so great, and we deserve those things or whatever. And so our actions do not always, we don't take into account our actions to the list of prayer that we make or send up to the Lord. So here I am, I'm getting ready to write down, the pastor's talking about connecting the verse 7 with verse 12, where when we ask for something, we also have to be careful to look inside and make sure that what we're asking about aligns with what we're asking and what the Lord's will is, what he wants for us, right? So verse 7 being, ask and you shall receive, and that is true. The Bible says that in other places too. You ask and you will receive what you ask for. But in this case, it goes together with verse 12 where it says, do unto others as you want done unto you. So if you're asking, oh Lord, change this person, do this, Lord, do that, Lord, and you say, okay, well, if I want to change this person, is that something I also want done to myself? Because you have to measure it with that same kind of measuring stick as the scripture says. And the pastor gives us an example, and that's what I'm writing out right here because I thought it was a really good example, where as a single young woman, the ideal is, you know, like when you're young, right? We watch all the fairy tales where we see the prince or knight in shining armor or the Prince Charming, and we say, oh, when I grow up, I'm going to wait for my Prince Charming. I'm going to save myself for my knight in shining armor, right? And that's good. That's not a bad thing. Asking for that is not a bad thing, that prayer. But we have to make sure we're looking into ourselves and saying, okay, if the Prince Charming is coming, I'm waiting for my knight in shining armor. Am I the princess that he is going to be coming looking for? Right? It can't just be, Lord, I want my Prince Charming, Lord, I want my knight in shining armor, Lord, give me this, give me that. And then ourselves not be ready or in the process of that change to receive what it is that we're asking for. And I start drawing here. I only do stick figures. I'm not an artist. This is about as good as it gets for me, stick figures. But I'm trying to draw out this little example that the pastor is giving us. But I loved it. It's pretty much down to a point, down to a T of this, the verses that that the pastor is talking about. The Prince Charming is going to come, right? The Lord will answer our prayers. He said, okay, I'll send you a Prince Charming. But Prince Charming is going to be coming looking for a princess. And if we're not praying also, Lord, use me, change me, make me into the woman, make me into that princess that Prince Charming is looking for, with the qualities and all the things that a prince would be looking for, right? And all we say is, Lord, Prince Charming, give me Prince Charming. And then we stay not a princess with those kind of qualities and things. You know what I'm saying? Like I don't know, this example was pretty spot on for me. So I'm just drawing a princess and, a girl that is not a princess yet, right? And she's thinking, I want a knight in shining armor. I want my Prince Charming. So I'm just drawing that out really quick on my notes. So after I finish drawing everything, the little example, right, I have the Prince Charming there, but he is looking for a princess. So the girl who is praying for that needs to also be her prayer, right? That her goal is to not only just have her Prince Charming, but also for herself to be ready to receive her Prince Charming, in which case she would also have to be a princess, right? So there has to be a personal transformation or a change. We have to be looking introspectively. We need to be looking into ourselves and not just, okay, Lord, this is my list. And I'm going to be drawing a little checklist actually in her hand. But this is my list, Lord. I want Prince Charming. I want him to look like this. I want him X have X, I want him to have Y, I want him to have Z, and I want you to check off all these boxes, and the boxes have nothing to do with you, with us, or us personally. So the pastor was making this point here, and I'm just making a checklist. So here I'm going back and I'm erasing. I had originally highlighted these things like a light pink, but because this is the golden rule and we're going deeper into what the golden rule actually means, not just a like self gratification, like, oh, I want everybody to be nice to me. I'll be nice to people so they could be nice to me. Whereas it's more of a reflection, like, okay, I'm going to pray, I'm going to ask for things for others the same way I'd like to be not treated, but the same way I would like the Lord to respond to me, right? And the pastor mentioned this verse, James 4:3. He said, where it says, you ask, but you ask wrong. That's just a paraphrasing, but it says in James 4:3, you ask and do not receive because you ask with wrong motives, that you may spend it on your own pleasures. And that fits perfectly with this, right? With verse 12, Matthew 7, verse 12, because sometimes we ask that, where we do unto others what we would like done to ourselves, but we ask with the motive that's self-benefiting. We ask so that we can have some kind of benefit out of it, that we can have some kind of something extra that happens to us. It's not always with good intentions that we ask. And so this verse, James 4:3, really really hits home with the verse Matthew 7:12, because the golden rule is not a self-benefiting rule. It's not meant for our own gratification or benefit. It's for the good that God has for everybody, not just others, but for ourselves, yes, but in a way that God, I guess in a way that only God can look at it. And I think this kind of opened my eyes to that, because I've never looked at it in that way before, where the golden rule is just, oh, I need to be nice so other people are nice to me. Yeah, that's true, but also in a deeper way so that others can be blessed. I want others to be blessed the same way I'd like to be blessed, right? And so I was just fixing the highlighting that I did, because I started off with pink, but I changed everything kind of to that golden color. And I'm switching over my pens now to add here. I'm adding how prayer isn't just a list, where we're asking Lord do this, Lord asking the Lord to do that. When we look at these verses here, James 4:3, Matthew 7:12, our prayer, our petition to the Lord isn't just asking, demanding, telling the Lord, oh, give me this, give me that, I want this, I want that. What our prayer should be an alignment of what God wants or what God thinks, right? So if I'm asking the Lord to do something to somebody else, it has to be in alignment with what God thinks. And I got to look back, is that the same kind of measure, the same kind of ruler that I want to be used against my own life too? And in which case, I think a lot of people would stop, because we're very quick to judge and be harsh to other people. But when we are retrospective in that sense and reflect, oh, how would this affect me if somebody were praying this against myself? We'd be very a little bit slower to how we prayed against other people. And the pastor gave this another Bible verse where Jesus prayed when he was in Gethsemane right before he was arrested. And where Jesus prayed first, he prayed, Lord, if it's possible, take this cup from me. And Jesus was man, right? So he felt that he was going to be in that pain and that anguish that he was about to go through. And yet he still said, right, because his prayer was not just a list of what he wanted. He was looking through the eyes of the Father. He was looking through what God's will was. He was aligning himself with what his Father's purpose in him was. And he finished his prayer with let this cup pass from me, but not let my will be done, but let your will be done. And that's what I'm writing in big letters here, that the will of the Lord be done. And how our prayers should be similar to Jesus's, where Jesus knew he was going to face all this trial and tribulations, right, on account of us, but and prayed that if it could be, that cup be passed from him, then let it, but that the will of God, of the Father, be done instead. And that's what our pastor was talking about, that our prayers should be aligned with that of the will of God. Here I just go to another tab on my digital Bible journal, and where I'm kind of writing down every service, who preached and what book of the Bible we're in, just so I have an idea. Just because it's a digital Bible journaling, I don't have like a chronological list of when I'm going through these verses and chapters, so I'm writing this down just for myself for future note. Okay, so here this is basically towards the end of the service already. The pastor is using what we read, what we went over with Jesus when Jesus prayed in Gethsemane, let your will be done, Lord, and how our prayers should reflect that we can ask, we can do our petitions, we can pray, but also at the same time, we need to be adding, or we need to also be asking the Lord, work with me, Lord, change my character. That's what that triangle, when I shorthand write, because when I shorthand write, I do triangles. It's something I learned in school, but the triangle right there means change. Lord, change my character. Lord, do your will in me. And Lord, examine me. I'm going to add that right here because I forgot to write it down the pastor goes kind of quickly, so I'm just trying to write down as much as I can remember, and I had to go back sometimes. But these things, these internal reflections in our prayers also should be they're also very much important in receiving what the Lord has for us and preparing ourselves and changing ourselves to receive and be aligned to what the will of the Lord is for us. And that's about it. That's how my page turned out. I'm closing my journaling Bible, and the rest of the service, you'll see I kind of fast forward. The pastor is ministering at the very end, but that's it, everybody. Thank you for checking out Hineni. I hope you guys sort of enjoyed the video, and I hope to post more. Please like, subscribe, and share. See you next time.